Hey, Mr. Boston, what's going on? Another week with Mr. Boston. What do you got there, Rascals? Where'd you see them?
Wolf Den. No, I saw him at. No, I saw him at the Wolf Den. And I saw him at the Ridgefield Playhouse. Those are the two places I saw her.
Richfield Playhouse. What a place to see a play. I mean, I was never there. I just seen the lineup. When you used to live like close to there, right?
I lived in Ridgefield. Yeah, I moved there because of the Playhouse. Couldn't afford it, but it's a great.
I was just gonna say,
how
much
city.
money? How much money you
The
have to
houses
have
aren't
to live in-
expensive there. It's weird.
Oh,
The rent is, but because New Yorkers commute, they rather live in New York City. They commute from Ridgefield and Weston and Westport and the whole Westchester County area.
2 hours? About 2 hours from the city?
No, it's a 1 hour train ride.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, less than an hour maybe. Yeah, you go right from Westport. Great city.
Wow.
Vibrant downtown. Ridgefield Playhouse, nonprofit. They have learning disabled kids handling the movie theater. Really very strict environmental laws. Very, very good place. Tax dollars work there. By the way, when it's about to snow there, they actually salt and sand the roads before it snows. What a novel idea.
Right.
Snow melts,
right.
you don't have to worry. You just drive.
We got a ton of questions, just a ton, but a couple of them we answered already on previous shows. I'll maybe do a little hit on that down the road for the people that are asking the same questions that Alan answered on previous shows. First one, Tony T, huh? That sounds familiar. Tony T. I think Tony T was in that was a line from a movie. Maybe it was like Donnie Brasco or not Donnie Brasco. Oh, Sean Penn played the lawyer. Anyway, Tony T. He was the mob guy in that movie.
Donnie Brasco was a great movie. That surprised me.
Yeah. Now this was actually.
I wasn't an Al Pacino fan until that movie.
Really?
It was amazing. Amazing.
Carlito's Way. The Godfather. You're not a Godfather guy?
No.
Dog Day Afternoon? No.
Hated Dog Day Afternoon.
Okay.
Hated it.
Tony.
I hated Al Pacino because he played a rat in Serpico.
Oh, Serpico, he played a rat.
Yeah, he was a cop who ratted on his partner.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
I
never liked him. I mean, he was just playing a role, but I don't know.
Tony wants to know: are you contributing? Are you going to Bet Bash this year? I don't know.
No.
Oh no.
No. Wasn't there last year. Won't be there this year. I resigned from the Hall of Fame.
From the committee.
So, which we don't need to get into, but
yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I don't.
Alan, have you ever
Bet Bash in theory is a very, very good idea.
Bro Logan Experience wants to know: have you ever tried any other sport? You ever try to handicap anything else, NASCAR or like anything like
I
that?
do bet tennis, not very successfully.
Okay.
I don't put enough effort into it. The 1 year I put a lot of effort into tennis, I did well with it, but it requires just watching every single match, and I ain't got it in me anymore. 1 year when we did not win a shit ton in basketball, I bought some baseball material and tried that, but that wasn't for me either. I think that's a lot more. When I was a kid, I that's all I followed was baseball, and I just winged it, and I had every single winner. But yeah, that's what I talk about when you just instinctively react to a line. I was a fan of baseball, and I had very good gambling instinct. I'm talking when I was a teenager. I'd give my dad games; they always won. But when I tried to do it a little more analytically, it wasn't very good. So no, actually, I did college football and then college basketball, and now it's just college basketball, and I won't be doing it after this year. I can't. I'm too old.
The old man in Chicago. You just brought something up, making me think of that. The old man said, "Billy, you let him bet because baseball, I'll get him. I'll get him in baseball. They can't beat me in baseball. You tell your guy that." That was just he made money because of volume in baseball. So
I find that weird, actually.
He let us steal off him in college basketball. That especially that year, whatever it was.
We're stealing. We're making bets.
Yeah,
they just happen to win.
That was a big year. But then he wanted baseball. He said, "I don't care. They got no chance in baseball."
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Because baseball, you're basically dealing with almost no edge. Like the
50%
you
less.
Shop around. Yeah, it's almost no edge. Well, I don't know anymore. I guess they don't have 10-cent lines anymore, but
they don't. Not in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Used to be 8-cent lines, and if you shopped around, you basically were dealing with a 1 or 2 cent edge. Like
when you were here, didn't they have 105? I think they had 105. It's
Richie when he ran Caesars tried.
Yep.
He opened first. You won't see this nowadays. He opened first. He took $5,000 on a 5-cent baseball line.
Jesus.
First,
Yeah.
no one else is open. Afternoon before. 5-cent line.
It's amazing his
43.48.
bosses would let him do that at Caesars. That's amazing that they had that
He
much
had free
trust.
reign there because he was successful. And his boss was Vinny. Vinny was very understanding of how the game worked, even though he had a little corporate. He was a little corporate, but he understood that there was a fine line between corporate and success.
We got a Mogi sighting, right? Is it Mogi?
Yeah, Mogi's here.
Mogi's there. All right. People love Mogi. Andy Wolf asked an interesting question. Does Alan ever see a situation where they change this NIL money, like a cap or how much you can get paid, because it has ruined college sports? I wonder, do you see that changing after they realize this, or not really?
I don't think they give a shit. I think I've talked about this for 25 years. I think they want to have all the power schools break off and do their own thing. And this is finally they figured out a way to like so-called legally do it. I will say, like Mick Cronin's talked about it, and there was a great article in the San Diego Tribune by Mark Ziegler, who's the best sports writer on the planet. And when Alabama, I talked about this actually, so I won't repeat it. But yeah, the NCAA allows for power schools they actually get more NIL money. We talked about this, and they actually go to these tournaments where they get paid NIL money. It's a rigged game. It's
and you don't see it changing.
No, I don't think they want to. They wouldn't allow this to happen if they gave 2 fucks to start. This is what they want. They want to eliminate smaller schools and mid majors, and when they do that, they'll ruin the game completely. Because, like I've talked about, the charm, the spirit of the game, the charm of the NCAA tournament is the underdogs, the Cinderella, the upset. I think that's what most people remember. That's certainly what's talked about most. Of course, they'll manipulate the press too to make it seem like it's all wonderful that they get all 4 1 seeds through, but that's bullshit. So I don't see them changing shit.
Okay.
As unfair as it is, I don't think they give a shit.
All right. Brock Landers. Alan, last week you mentioned your top 4 teams. I was very surprised. Arizona
I was wrong.
Arizona wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I was wrong.
They almost have no flaws. Alan, also, Illinois is set for a perfect trip through the tournament. St. Louis for first 2 games, Chicago for round of 16 and 8, then final 4 in Indianapolis. Okay.
I have the top 10 teams written down, so I apologize. Off the top of my head, I did screw up. So Arizona, in fact, I do have the highest rated team. So I did fuck it up completely.
Okay, you want to go over it?
So I got Arizona 1, Duke 2, Michigan 3, UConn 4. And this is they're all within a half a point, so it's really close. Then Florida, Gonzaga, Purdue, Houston, and then Iowa State, and then these last 4 are basically all rated the same: Illinois, Louisville, Vanderbilt, and Alabama. Well, not Alabama, fuck them. They're definitely I dropped them. So Illinois, Louisville, and Vanderbilt are tied for 10th. Those are the top 10 by my ratings. And there's not much of a gap between Arizona would be a 5.5 point favorite over the 10th team. Gotcha. But they've done nothing wrong, Arizona. They've been that game at BYU was uber impressive. But they're a young team and it's a long season, and they could crack by the end of the year. I don't think they'll win the whole thing, but
so
they're the highest rated team.
Second part of this question. Usually no advantage betting into these double-digit house edge futures. That's right. That is true. Would you like to go in any flyers, though? Any idea on any flyers going in?
I thought Illinois, and I think I mentioned to you earlier in the year that Illinois and
I had it 20 something to 1. We bet Illinois. Now they're like 12 to 1. But yeah, we bet Illinois. It's
still 20 something to 1 though. They really, because they were playing well without their 2 best players in theory, and they're uber talented. The coach is good. And he's done a lot of good things this year, Underwood. Even though I kind of knocked him when asked about him, he's disappointed since he's been there. But this team is really uber talented and certainly could win the whole thing. It wouldn't shock me if they won the whole thing. If I had to take a flyer on somebody, I don't know. It's hard to get past. It's always hard for an underdog to go all the way.
Right.
And as far as some sneaky loaded team, I mean, everyone mentions St. Louis. That's probably about as good or maybe Texas Tech. That might be kind of a sneaky good team that could do
Texas
some.
Tech, Texas Tech about 50-1. So
Yeah, they should
yeah,
be though. I mean,
yeah,
unless you can bet no, then you're always getting robbed on the yes. That's
sure,
a fact.
sure.
Except when
Well,
I did the future book for Mr. Vaccaro, then the customer had the edge.
yeah, yeah. Uh, a Houston or Connecticut at 12 or 13-1. I don't know.
No,
Alan?
no,
No,
not at that price. No,
not at that price. Okay.
no, it's because you got to win what 7 games, and Houston's a dog to many of the teams, and so they're going to have to be, they're going to have to win as a peanut dog a couple times probably, and pick them another time probably, and that you're already up to like 10-1. And then they got the other games too. So yeah, there's no value in most of these things. I do think if I had to pick one team, I would pick UConn. I think
Okay.
I think they have the biggest upside. But they'll cheat for Duke like they usually do. Like Boozer's great, but he gets away with absolute murder. Much like Cooper Flagg did last year. They pick a Duke guy who they are going to pamper, and last year it was Flagg. This year it's Boozer. He can do whatever he wants on that court and never get called. It's really kind of disgusting, actually. But that's the world we live in.
Yeah, yeah.
No
So,
one's going to expose it because none of the announcers are going to say, what's 3 seconds and what's a travel and what's an offensive foul and what's over the back, and it's they don't talk about it. So
yeah.
they're not allowed to. They get fired. So it's a complete shit show. Everything's full of shit. And now we have Darman. I don't know if you know Darman. Darman is the NFL chief kindness.
Oh,
man.
okay.
Yeah. Roger Goodell thought they should have a chief kindness guy for the fucking
Wow.
NFL.
Wow.
Yeah. Chief kindness. The fucking NFL, where they're out there killing each other. Can you imagine anything?
I didn't know.
Stupider.
I know nothing about it.
Of
Wow.
course, but why? I mean, it's a fucking football game. It's bad
Right.
enough they had the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime shit.
Right.
And he's over there at the Grammys, like knocking the country. And the whole thing's just crazy. These people are just crazy people. These fucking multimillionaires telling us what we shouldn't do as they live in their gated communities with 24/7 security. Like they don't even deal in reality, and they're trying to make speeches. They're just so disgusting.
The girl, who's the girl? The girl that's
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish
lives on Native American land and is talking about
God.
Yeah, she's a moron. I mean, she's talented, but she's a moron. When you have low IQ people speaking, it's trouble, and she's a legitimate moron. Of course, we almost had Kamala Harris too, who's probably not much smarter than a moron, if she is at all. So anyway,
Kane Jordan wants to know some of the names from the old days. Does Alan know if Hollywood Al is still alive? Do you know who that is?
I talked to him yesterday.
Unbelievable! Wow.
Who is this? How do you know Hollywood Al? Oh my
Kane,
God!
I mean, of course I know him, but how do you know him, Kane? Yeah. Wow. No one has heard from him. That's unbelievable that you heard from him yesterday. Wow.
I talked to him. He's a close friend.
Wow. Wow. I told you who I ran
You don't know Al.
here. From Hollywood Sportsbook in 1999.
No. From Hollywood Contract.
Oh. Well, there was a
also called 8 Dog Al because he always bet the 8 when the 7 slammed. Who's
Hollywood
Kane?
Al.
Damn, now I got to tell Al, like he's gonna.
Yeah,
he'll watch the podcast probably. I'll tell him to watch this.
I thought Hollywood Al was from. Remember Hollywood Sportsbook in Costa Rica back in 25 years ago.
No, this is no
different Al.
This is Raynham Park.
Oh wow!
And yeah, he was a legend at Hollywood Dog Track in Florida.
Wow.
Really good dude. Yeah, good friend. Known him, Jesus, 40-something years. Really good pool player, too. Yeah, so he's still alive and kicking and hasn't changed much, actually. He still doesn't have any fucking gray hair. He's in his 70s. It's really kind of remarkable. Well, anyway, we have a tradition, right, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, what do you got? You have a steak again?
Of course. I'm not even a meat eater, but since I...
That's more than a steak. That's a whole bunch of stuff. What else you got in there?
Corn and carrots.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even.
I'm trying to gain a few pounds, so I'm eating a lot more protein. And
oh wow, good job. No wonder why Bogey was hanging around the stove. I knew there was more to the story.
Steak, right, Bogey?
There. Wise guy wager, of all the people Boston Red has dealt with over the years, Who does he have the most respect for? Wow, that's a tough one. Yeah, I mean, who would you say? Would you say maybe Mr. Walters? Probably. I mean, but there could be other names years ago. I shouldn't be answering for you.
Uh probably Scotty Scheller.
Wow,
Probably Scotty Scheller.
cool.
Yeah,
Why,
he
Alan?
he
Why?
just revolutionized the industry and taught me a shit ton about interaction. He was always honest and acted like he was not very smart, but in fact was brilliant. So and he just treated everyone the same, and that's just and that was my beginnings. That's where I kind of got started in this whole thing, and he, like I said before, he had this Stardust, which is basically a shithole, and made it epic. Like every idea he came up with was great, and he just was always classy. And yeah, so probably Scotty is my guess.
Wow.
I mean, you respect people for different reasons, so
Yeah.
and I'd have to go through a whole laundry list of people that I've dealt with, but
Great question.
not there's not many that I do respect. So that's yeah.
I did a show with him,
That's
and I got to
interesting.
meet him and do a show with him, and I knew I was in the presence of greatness because of his articles at Gaming Today. They were so good, and he actually wrote a book. We were wise guys and didn't know it, something like that
Yeah,
title.
the story about me losing my Corvettes in there.
Is it really? Wow. Wow. No, we were wise guys and we didn't
Yeah.
know it. Scotty
No, he
Scheller.
told me he wanted to make sure that the memories of the Stardust didn't disappear. So he put it in words. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
cool.
it's really hard to describe the Stardust. Like like Jimmy Walker would show up every morning
Right.
and hang
Every
out.
morning.
And I remember Andre
Wow.
Agassi was there one day making a bet on a bowl game. He bet the side I like too. I told him good bet. Like, yeah, it was just a whole mix. And it was just a really super interesting place. It ran the gamut. Like you have Andre Agassi, a tennis star, and he was very young back then, but he was clearly going to be great. And we had knockaround guys, basically street guys hanging out there, and you had mob guys hanging out there, and you had smart,
So
and
true.
handicappers. It was just a whole mixed bag, but it all worked. And Scotty was the leader of the whole thing. He made it all work. It just everyone felt at home there. It didn't matter who you were. Didn't matter if you had money or not. Like everyone, it was, I don't know. It was just a whole different world.
Wow. Wow. Just getting some water. And this guy's got a nice comment. This guy here, Mr. Pixworth. No real question, guys. Just want to thank both of you for this hour each week. Appreciate you both and love the time each week. Would love for you to plan a future meet and greet at a sports book or maybe casino or just local place one day. Thanks again. Well, Mr. Pixworth, I'll tell you what. We may just do that. We may just have some kind of a meet and greet where I fly over to Connecticut there, and we
I
get
might fly out for
together.
the NCAA tournament. I'll see.
Okay.
I'll see
Yeah.
how I'm feeling, or if I can even think I can stomach Vegas. And if we do, then we'll do something like that. But where's everyone from? Like it's
Yeah, it's tough.
we could do two.
Yeah, it's tough. Alan, you've had
I would enjoy that. Yeah.
you've had some good you had some good conversation with someone last week, correct?
Someone wrote an amazing comment, and it just happened to be up top, and I happened to be at the gym, and the video popped up, and I don't read comments because I don't understand negativity. Like, what's the point? Don't listen to the show if you don't like it. Like, if I say something stupid, you can call me out. That's fine. But some people are just being spirited for no reason, and I don't get it. Like, and it really aggravates me. I don't get anything out of this. I just hope someone enjoys it.
Yeah.
So when the gentleman wrote this comment that he's from he lives east of Providence. He's probably from Seekonk or Rehoboth or one of those towns in Massachusetts. Nice area, by the way. And he was talking about how the show resonates with him big time, and the feeling he portrayed was very I don't want to say chilling, but moving to me. In that, a simple Q&A with this old guy who's, you know, past his prime, that not only the honesty, but also the vibe of the show would create almost like an hour of therapy for him. I mean, you can't top that. And, you know, he offered to buy me dinner, and I said, okay, as long as it's not Italian. And he threw a name out of a place, which I don't think it's for me, but, you know, we'll figure it out. And I'll definitely have dinner with the gentleman. Like, I was flattered by the comment. It was,
yeah, this guy
it made my day. Like, I'm just a human being like everyone else, and very flawed. And
his name's not Anthony, right? This guy offered to buy.
I don't know. I just read the comment. Like, I responded to it immediately. Yeah, it was just a beautiful little statement. Yeah. And you know, I could, like I told you about it, and I compared it to like when you told me, you know, Teddy Atlas, who is,
yeah.
I didn't know Teddy. I had sent someone a book, Lefty's Legacy, a book about Sandy Koufax by Jane Levy. It's a fantastic book. Fantastic. One of the best books ever written. And he raised me up by saying, I'm going to send you a biography of Teddy Atlas. He said, this guy is like you. Like, you're going to, and sure enough, like every word that Teddy spoke in that book is like, well, that's what I would have said. That's what I would have said. That's like, it was just like, oh my God, this guy's like amazing. Like, who is this? I knew the name from boxing, but I never knew of him or what he was like. I said, boy, this guy's more of a fucking straight shooter than me. This is like almost impossible. And then you said you knew him. Like, no fucking way. And so when I had dinner that night with Teddy, when you brought me to dinner, I was in that same feeling that this guy had. Like, this is a brethren spirit. And, you know, I'm just honored, honored. I was honored personally. I doubt he'd be honored, but the implication is, but it was that same vibe. Here's someone who is me in a different way, but we come from we're cut from the same cloth, to sound cliched. And yeah. And, you know, just meeting Teddy, and then it's life-changing because he doesn't exist. Like,
and
you know, he doesn't exist. I mean, Friday Night Fights, I ended up watching that because that show was unbelievable. And Teddy made that show. Not Joe Tessitore, whatever the douche's name was. It was Teddy's show. And my friend had a great description of the Friday Night Fights. It was like Teddy had like a fireside chat, and he welcomed you in to his home and commented on the fights. Like, that's the vibe that show had. It was, and then you took me to a couple of the Friday Night Fights. Well, Teddy invited you, and you invited me, and those were just, the last show was just epic. That was one of the greatest nights of my life.
That was such a great night. What a great night.
It was sad.
We were all over with him, though. We were on the East Coast, West Coast. We were in Santa Monica. We were in I forget what that last fight was. That last
Santa Monica. It wasn't in Santa Monica, but that's where we were.
Yeah. We were
all over. And I mean, the kid. I mean, every single human there loved Teddy. Like,
it's amazing. Amazing. He controls the crowds.
A kid flew in from Chicago to shake his hand.
It's great.
He said, I'm an up-and-coming fighter from Chicago. And Teddy sat there, and the guy said, Teddy, you're going to miss your flight. He said, I don't care. I'm talking to him. Like, yeah, that's Teddy. Like, the kid flies in from Chicago. Teddy's going to fucking talk to him. If he misses his flight, so be it.
Yeah. Yep.
He don't exist.
No. He texted me today, actually, about Mayweather, about Floyd Mayweather. He read a story, wanted to know what Mayweather's. Yeah, so him and I'm on a group text with his son. And interesting situation there. I thought it was this guy, Anthony, about dinner, because he said, ask Alan if I could treat him to dinner this summer. Anthony Ferrari. So
I don't think it was. I don't know. But it's the first. It was one of the first comments. It may have been replaced by a new
You don't have your messages on, Anthony. I see you only have 3 followers. You're only following 3 people, but you comment on our show all the time. And I see, and that's the reason why I was going to try to get back to you, but yeah, you don't have the messenger on. But you did ask another question here. As professional bettors, what percentage of your income comes from your own personal betting? With all of the work and hours and handicapping you put in, are you able to rely on a steady income as well in case of losing betting months for life expenses? Okay, that's a very good question. I'll let Alan take care of that one.
I had $80 in my pocket when I got to Vegas and ran that up into a $3 million home, a Ferrari, and a $100,000 SUV, and plenty of money around town. which then I ran down into basically nothing. But that's me. I'm not like, I don't give a fuck about money. If I gave a fuck about money, I'd have money. That's kind of it. Like, what's the point of just holding on to it? So I've always been a spendthrift and maybe uber generous, and maybe, like I have no regard for it, which is, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not proud of it, but that's who I am.
Yeah.
Like it keeps life interesting to me. I've talked about that. I've hit on this a lot. Like a part of me almost has to be broke to have that struggle to keep life interesting. But yeah, no, I made a shit ton of money betting sports, and had it been important to be some multi-millionaire, I probably would be, but that's not the point of all this. It was more like a game that I enjoyed. It wasn't a lifetime dream.
I was
to
going
be
to say,
better.
it looks like you were smiling. You had your shoulders a little bit. You enjoyed that though. You actually enjoyed going through that, building it up, spending it, enjoying it.
You find different joys when you're a millionaire than you are when you're broke, but it's still joys that you're finding. And like our dinner at the Ocean House, which would be nothing to me if I had money, because who the fuck, it's just fucking money. That's something I can't do all the time. So when you take me to the Ocean House, it's a special evening. Now that becomes a lot more relevant than, when I'd spend $3,000 on a bottle of wine that I didn't know anything about, just because I could. I mean, I did save money for the future, and I didn't expect the housing market to crash. I thought I had, I actually put a lot of cash into that house to plan for my retirement. And I waited a year too long to quit. And when I decided I was going to be quit, now the housing market crashed and my house became almost worthless. And, I sold it for 1.05 million. That's not 3.1 million with an arrow going up. So I ended up with very, very little instead of enough to retire on. And then I made some poor decisions after that.
Even though there was a boom.
But yeah, no, I print money in basketball. I am good at this. I'm not bragging. That's just fact. Even though I always fucking tweet losers, which is really disturbing. I love that game last night that lost. But it's not for everybody. It's like, I'm kind of a loner and don't care if there's anyone in my life. And it's a very safe place for me to be. And my mind just naturally works in a logical way. And I got the hang of this very quickly. Like I had no plans on being a sports bettor at any point in my life. Of course, I had no plans on anything because I didn't care. I just winged it. I winged it from day one. Yeah. Like interestingly enough, my yearbook quote is from high school. Came from Maverick. And he said, as my old pappy used to say, and my quote was, work is a good way to while away the time, but a bad way to make a living. And I've sort of lived by that. So that was my yearbook quote. And that was kind of prescient. It means knowing in advance.
Track Gabe. This is an old school guy, been around a long time too. What websites do you use to handicap college basketball presently, and what is the different about your research now to compare to before the internet age? I don't know if there is a difference, but let's see. Alan, you don't really do.
Well, the internet, the internet changed a lot. Like I would go and stare at a ticker all night. That's how I updated everything. When the internet came, now you could get scores off the computer. So there's no reason to go to a sports book and watch all night. And when the internet came, newspapers eventually came online. And now I get up at 4 a.m. every morning and read every preview of every game, except on Saturday where I just didn't have time to read them all. But I read the ones I thought might have some relevance. But now that newspapers are going under, it's a little trickier for me to read about all the games in a manner that so now I listen to a lot more press conferences to try to maybe hear something the coach says that might matter. Like I kind of immerse myself in all the games, whether it's sweating the scores, which I don't really do anymore, or just reading and reading and reading. And I hope that when I'm in a really good place, that as I'm immersed in this, that instinctively I will, if I'm way off on a price, like I am tonight on Chattanooga and Mercer, I could come up with the reasons why I'm off, and all the reasons why I'm off are, number one, I'm making a line, and maybe I have a team overrated or underrated, but usually there's something like when we do the NCAA tournament show, when I start giving reasons why I like a team, if it comes out very free flowing and makes a lot of sense, I might talk about a game from December that I think matters for this NCAA tournament. And when I'm in a really good place, I'll find that relevant moment that I read at some point or heard in a press conference or something I recall, because I've immersed myself in this. It becomes very instinctive, which is why instinct is everything. And why when you're losing, especially for me, where I'm not plugging numbers into a computer, sometimes instinct can be very, very difficult to trust or to latch onto a relevant moment because you're doubting yourself. And I've talked about that quite a bit also. So it all kind of comes full circle. But the internet changed in that there's a lot more information on the internet. Now, other people have, they have people reading nonstop. They have people following Twitter nonstop to get all the injuries and everything. And I'm just me. So I'm kind of in over my head, but I've been over my head for 40 years and had 2 losing years. So I've done something right. I have very good instinct for this. Like my brain just naturally had some affinity for this. Now, whether it's because I went to games at the Palestra and knew the point spreads and some instinctive foundation was created there where I understand things on a level that people might not, that normal people would not. I don't know. But I will say this. I haven't talked about this. This is kind of interesting. So my memory sucks. Let's just take that as fact. I can watch a TV show one week and have no clue what happened the next week when I'm watching it. I'll forget what happened the week before. I'm reading a book. I have to reread paragraphs sometimes because, number one, I'm a little nuts, in case people didn't figure that out. They didn't have ADD when I was a kid, but I'm sure I would probably have some version of that because Adderall doesn't do anything for me, which means that it probably is what I should be taking, but I'm not a methamphetamine guy. No, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, when I did coke in the 80s a lot, it actually calmed me down. So I'm pretty sure that I'd be ADD. They're in, coke and Adderall are in the same field. But so that's part one. My memory sucks. Part two, and this has nothing to do with the question, but I like to talk about this. We learn language in a different manner than we learn everything else. Language is learned in the instinct part of our brain, like riding a bicycle or walking or swinging a baseball bat or anything or anything that you do without thinking is done instinctively. And the psycholinguistics course at Penn taught us that specifically when you're learning language, you're learning it in the instinct. You're not thinking about words, right? You're just spitting them out. Like we're talking 100 miles an hour here, but it's a very complicated process. So it's done very instinctively. So that's why Rosetta Stone and all the other thing is all bullshit. Because the instinct part of your brain kind of closes around 25. That's why kids can sponge everything up and learn everything like that. But as you get older, it becomes more difficult to learn because the instinct part of your brain is almost closed. It's almost done. This is talking about it very simplistically, but it's accurate enough. But somehow, some way, as I had a career in college basketball, which started around 30, I remember every game, every time someone interviews me, I have no notes. I mean, my book's here, but I'm not reading it. You ask me about a game, I'll start talking about it. There's no notes, no nothing. It's all in here. So my memory with basketball, for whatever reason, is pretty high level. Like being able to talk the last 5 games that a team played and how the game played out and why they didn't, I could do it pretty well for 370 teams. Like that's ridiculous. Completely ridiculous for someone whose memory sucks. So I think somehow, and later in life than you'd expect, as I did basketball, I do basketball in the same part of my brain that we learn language. And my thought process when I'm really on is very, very instinctive. And when I'm talking about a game, I'll spit it right out because there's no memory involved. It's like the language meets just talking. And if that doesn't make sense, sorry, but that's my guess as to what has happened here. That a guy whose memory sucks can now go back and talk about Mississippi Valley State's last 3 games, or Utah State, or whatever. and it'll do it like that. Like, it makes no sense because my memory is not good. Just that's just fact. Anyway,
But like last night, you mentioned, no, you mentioned last night earlier today, New Mexico State. That's how good. That's how you know the work was
oh
good.
yeah. So I love New Mexico State last night, but sorry, I've also loved them the last 5 games that they've gotten blown out in. So I talked about having faith in your work and sticking to your guns as being very, very important as a handicapper, for me as a handicapper. So New Mexico State, I bet them 5 games in a row, or I liked them 5 games in a row. I suggested people bet them, and they got blown out of every game. It was either 4 or 5. I think 5. Yeah, they lost all those in a row, and then both at home, and then got blown out at Kennesaw. Right, so it was 5. But here they are at La Tech last night, and I said, fuck it. Like, this team is still – I know New Mexico State, the coach is excellent. He's talked about how this team is better than last year's team, but now I got them rated the same as last year's team. But I'm not going to go below it. I don't care how wrong I've been about them. I'm sticking to my guns with this team. And voila, they won very easily last night. They played to the rating that I thought they would play to. In spite of them not even being close 5 games in a row, I just said, screw it. I still think this team can play. I didn't let 5 bad results sway my opinion. And when I'm good, that's when I'm really good. Because it's easy to say, you know, I have New Mexico State favored at Kennesaw. Kennesaw closes 3.5, and they're up 20 10 minutes into the game, and it's never close. Well, in theory, it'd be logical to change your rating and probably drop New Mexico State since I've been on them every single game. But I didn't. I kept their rating the same, and last night they played to what I expected, and they won very easily as a small dog. So, yeah, that one I was kind of proud of because that's showing no doubt in what I'm doing. That's saying fuck it. It was just another bad game they played. But once it's up to 5 games, it's hard to say fuck it, right? It's at some point I'm just wrong. But I said, you know what? I still believe this is a real good team, and Hooten's a good coach, and the program's very good, and there's no reason why they're this bad. So, yeah. Sorry, I should have turned the phone off. Anyway, yeah, so that's the New Mexico State story. I stuck to my guns with New Mexico State and got rewarded last night.
Gotcha. This is from Tommy Dimes. Tommy has been a fan of the show and all my shows. I never realized there's a photo of him on his. He lives in Boca Raton. That's how I pictured Tommy Dimes. And Tommy, you can confirm this. Were you like up in Brooklyn or the Bronx or something? That's Tommy. So you can see him there with his cigar. He's got his cigar, and he asks questions almost every single week. But Tommy Dimes, thank you for this question. Let's go right to it. Alan, is it wise to follow just one team in basketball and bet with or against them accordingly? Just one team.
I think one conference is probably a better approach than one team, because one team that's still playing the other team, you have to have some clue how good the other team is. So one team in and of itself, you can get a really good feel. Maybe if you're a UConn fan, you might have an idea of when they're going to play a big game or when they're not. But that still doesn't help you, have a feel for the other team and whether you're getting cheated on the line or not. So I think one conference is an excellent approach if you just want to have some fun with basketball and just immerse yourself in the one conference. Don't overthink anything. Read all you can or watch all you can or do whatever you're comfortable doing and wing it. So yeah, I think that's almost right. I think it's almost right. It's a good way to keep it simple and still have fun and probably win. Like, I'm a big fan of the Ivy League because went to an Ivy League school, and I've always had success in the Ivy League. I always spend a little extra time reading about it because it's just where I began.
Gotcha.
So Alex, I close to being right. One conference, not one team.
Alex Gordon, and it's amazing. This is like the 3rd or 4th person I have read now that has recently seen the best of it. So there's some people, they're watching it somewhere. It's still on the internet, still somewhere.
I think it's on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Okay, that's what it is then. Alex Gordon says, I watched the best of it recently and was surprised to hear Boston was not your last name. What is the story behind that, and when did it originate?
Stardust Lottery. First day I sign up. Initials, please. AD. We already have an AD. They had Alan DeAndrea. He happened to be from Providence. And I said, all right, how about Alan from Boston? How about AB? And that stuck. That's how I became Boston. So Dvorkis is my last name, which is AD, but they already had an AD, so you can't have the same initials for the lottery.
Wow.
So that's how I was from Boston. So I just said, fuck it. Let's just say Alan from Boston and Alan Boston. And that stuck. And that was, 1989. So I've been called other things. Probably not as nice.
RGB 33 wants to know, Alan, have you ever played gin or poker or any type of a casino game or any game at all, any type of a gambling game with anyone famous like Lucille Ball? I know Lucille Ball used to play gin down at the Jolly Trolley, my friend Paul said. I know she used to play gin real high. But back then, Alan, was there any celebrities or anyone playing?
I played with A-Rod, No Limit Hold'em.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I remember on the turn, I bet 500, and he debated. I said, well, we can just arm wrestle for the pot. Like, sort of joking. He's a rather large human. But
oh, wow.
Yeah, but he said, no, I'll pass. If you want to do it, I'll pass. He was right, probably, because I'm pretty good at arm wrestling, but I couldn't beat him. But it was kind of a joke. I'll say this: he had a really smoking hot woman sitting behind him, and I played with Charles Barkley.
Oh, how was he?
Was he started Caesar's nice? Palace? Yeah, him and I think it was Henderson. They were both. He played for the Celtics. The other kid, they were both there playing 24, 15, 30, or 30, 60 stud. I forget. They were having fun. They didn't, obviously they didn't give a shit about the money. And who else did I play with? As far as playing games, I think that's it. I don't know. Nothing else kind of registered.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I had a friend that I knew that Lucille Ball played, and there was a big giant actor. Boy, this is back from the 60s and 70s that used to play, but I know Lucille Ball actually was playing with some of the sharpest guys in gin, and she held her own for a while. I know that. So, but I know they were probably trying to cheat her. I'm trying to think of the guy's name from Philly. He died, but he was a real sharp guy with his hands. He was almost a mechanic, but he couldn't beat like Stewie. Stewie knew he was cheating.
No one could beat Stewie.
Yeah, Stewie knew he was cheating, and he still wanted. And Stewie still, he's not gonna. I won't get the game if he can't cheat. That was, I'm not gonna get the game. Let him cheat. I won't be able to play him if he's not gonna cheat. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, yeah. I've met other celebrities, but I've never played games with anyone else. I don't believe David Brenner used to play at the Golden Nugget, but that wasn't with me.
Huh. Okay.
Which one? I played a tournament with Spider-Man. That kid's name.
I got to be honest.
The kid who played Spider-Man. I forget his name.
Yeah. I told him about it. I have no real good feel. I played poker with him. I think he was crude, rude, and I think he was kind of an asshole, to be honest with you. So we hold nothing back on the show.
Who's that?
Spider-Man.
Oh, really? No, he was a gentleman.
Really? He wouldn't give a kid an autograph that day. The guy had his son there, and it was during the break. It wasn't like he was in the middle of a hand. He's like, "No, I don't do that when I'm playing poker." That just turned me off.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a charity tournament too. I've seen it with my own eyes. Seen it with my own eyes. It wasn't like it was hearsay. Justin D'Agostino, maybe more of a comment, but I know the answer, but I want to ask because you were so nice to ask. Put it this way, I want to answer for Justin here. Just want to thank the two of you for doing these. I really look forward to it every week. Hope Alan knows exactly how much he's appreciated. My question is, Alan mentions he doesn't bet anymore, but he advises now. Can he expand on what he's doing these days? Thanks.
My friend needs a college basketball line. I supply him with it. That's kind of it. He can do what he wants with it. He can bet with it, or, he tries to make money based on my lines, whether and whether it's wheeling and dealing or betting or cross booking or whatever he's doing. It's none of my business, but
Sure.
he asked me as a friend, and I said yes.
What
So-
Alan's saying is these big bettors, they trade now. So now they'll actually trade instead of betting with a bookmaker, they'll actually say, let us just bet each other straight up, no line, no 11 to 10. Bet 10,000 on something, and maybe something Alan advises will help his friend. So it's a way to bet with two different people that think they're smart, that have opinions, and it goes on a lot in the poker world now. That goes on. So I think that's what Alan.
Yeah, I was surprised at the World Series last year. How many of these poker players knew me? Like,
yeah.
I'm old news, like, and they're poker players, but there's a huge crossover with poker and sports betting for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think they'll actually know you more if you wear that Russian hat to the World Series. Everyone will really know you.
Well, this hat was given to me, by the way, by a young lady came over and said, "You got it's a kind of a libertarian hat. Don't tread on me." Like,
oh, okay.
You know,
No, I was referring to the other one you had. Oh,
I know the Cossack hat. I got that, but
that says "Don't tread on me."
Yeah,
that says?
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't tread on my rights, motherfucker.
Listen. This is just a really nice comment. I have to read it. James Ames. I stopped my regular Friday happy hour with friends at the tavern to get home to watch this every Friday. Thanks, guys. James, it's on. Is that guy all right? Someone?
Yeah.
Just okay. That's not the guy with the sling blade, is it? Same guy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, these things happen during the show.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, James. You don't have to. Thank you for your stopping your meeting group with your friends at the tavern. You could do that and come home after. It's going to be on YouTube. But thank you, James. Alan and I both like.
That's pretty amazing. It's amazing how this show is resonating with people. It's.
I appreciate this guy. What are you? I'm going to read it anyway, Robin. I appreciate you letting Alan speak, not like other guests interrupting all the time. Well, I got to let Alan speak. This is his show. I speak on many other shows. Thank you. Tyler and wow.
That's all I'm good at is talking. So like we got to go with our strengths.
Tyler, I'm just going to, instead of pronouncing all this, your tagline here, Tyler and meet the Tapley, whatever that means. Tyler said, tell Alan that I've listened to him forever. Wow.
Thanks.
I took his advice and went to Higgins Beach in Maine and loved
wow.
We'll definitely spend summers in Maine. Okay, so that's a beach?
I spent summers at Old Orchard Beach, Maine, but I'm very familiar with Higgins Beach too. Yeah, Maine's amazing. The people are Old Orchard Beach is amazing. People are amazing, total blue collar town, but you can still leave your door open there and not worry.
I just realized we answered Jamie Z's question without even asking it. Was Alan friendly with Jimmy J.J. Walker from the Good Times? I can remember him hanging out to Stardust. Yeah, Jamie, we just answered that.
I wasn't friendly with him, but he was there.
Okay.
He was just a guy in the crowd. Like he was a big deal back then, but not at the Stardust. He was just another guy at the Stardust. And no one went up to him, oh my God, James, JJ, like, I love you. No one, he just talked. He loved it. He loved to bet.
Yeah, this is another just a comment more than a question. But I love the old school guys. Final tables, Kev, Kev. Love the show. You two chatting remind me of when I was a break-in dealer 25 years ago, back when it was the last of the good old pre-corporate days where you can get a discretionary comp rather than relying on strictly Theo and what the computer spits out. The old stays stories are great, even the ones before my time in the industry. Thanks, guys. Thank you, sir. Just a comment, like I said. Ronan.
Accurate.
Right. Let's just see here.
I'm sure the dealers were happier at the World Series back then. Because
oh yeah, then now. Very good subject here, Alan. Now, I don't know if they just hire them and they don't they maybe have them deal a couple hands. I bet you back then they were much more.
It was much smaller, so it was easier to have but yeah, no, the dealers were amazing back then.
That's true.
But they were happier because people tipped what they wanted. It wasn't some forced tip from some corporate fuck where it gets divvied up 87 different ways. People tip typically about 5% of what they made, and the dealers chopped it up. and they, it wasn't this goes to the foreman, this goes to this one, this goes to this one. It all went to the dealers. And of course, we tipped Jack McCullen on the side because he ran the tournament. But people were more generous then because they weren't raking anything and they weren't robbing you every single fucking minute of every single fucking day.
20% World Series of Poker out of the smaller tournaments, they're taking 20%.
At the World Series?
Yes, I think it was 18% on their $500
No
tournament.
fucking way.
Year. Yeah, that's I try to tell people how do you
18% at the World Series?
Oh, definitely. The 18.
I thought it was like 6%.
No,
Boy, am I naive.
No.
I thought the 10K stud was 6%.
I had the whole chart last year from somebody. I'll find it.
That is disgusting.
One of our next shows.
Oh, fuck that, Jesus. And but you can get a cinnamon roll for $15. So I mean, It's not all bad, right?
Yeah, John Orlando and I talked about that. Cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, but 2 years ago it was $15 too, so they didn't go up in price. Like they should be proud of themselves. They didn't let inflation get them in the way of their $15 fucking cinnamon roll.
Alan, this guy, I heard of this guy, so of course you know. This is from Babo Bogdan, like Babo Bogdanovich maybe or something. Alan, I was wondering your thoughts on harness driver from Maine, Walter Case Jr. I love harness racing. When he came to Vernon Downs in upstate New York, he won 7 on a 12 race card. Needless to say, not one of the winners paid over $5. Love the show.
Yeah, Casey was an amazing talent, but really fucked up upbringing, and it kind of eventually got him. Like a lot of people in Maine kind of struggled, but that kid was uber talented. And by the way, he was a bit dirty on the racetrack. He'd put a wheel under other drivers. He'd go in a little half in, half out. He'd do anything he could to win. But he was a total gentleman. Like he always had I recall when I went to get my license in Pocono Downs, he walked into the office. He said, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Like, I was just a guy from Maine who owned horses. But he knew me, and he was always a gentleman. And I felt bad for him because it's just, it's when you're there's a lot of long cold winters in Maine, and when you're bored and have little money, sometimes drinking becomes an issue up there. So there's a lot of alcoholism up in Maine, which just makes sense. It's almost like during COVID when the fucking government locked us all in our fucking houses. I got into some evil shit, and other people did too. Like suicides were way up, alcoholism was way up, drug use was way up. Because what else are you gonna do? You're bored, and you're miserable, and you try to hide it and occupy time. So yeah, I think some in Maine struggle with their upbringing when the parents maybe drink too much, and I don't know Casey's history, but I think that might have been a part of it. But he's still driving up in Maine, and he was very, very talented. There was a lot of really talented guys in Maine, actually. Greg Aneloro, who I used, I actually talked to him for the first time in years the other day, and he was.
I think someone brought that name up.
Another kid from up there who was just an absolute wizard. But the game is ruined, so I still want to go to the Maine fairs. I got to go to the Maine fairs this summer.
It's funny. The next guy asked a question like that. Simpson on joke. He said, "Hey Alan, love the podcast. I have 2 questions. One, why does he prefer harness racing to thoroughbreds?" Let's ask that first. Why do you like the?
My dad took me to Hinsdale when I was 8 years old, and they took me to Suffolk Downs later. I still have that program. The last night they ever raced at Suffolk Downs, I have that program. It's in really good condition too. I wonder if it's worth anything. I'll donate it to some harness racing Hall of Fame, maybe in Goshen. But yeah, my dad took me there, and it was my dad, and right. I never went to the thoroughbred, so and harness is a lot quicker and to me a lot more cerebral. There's some beauty to it, and they were. I used to enjoy the thoroughbreds like the old fairgrounds in Massachusetts. They raced at Marshfield, Northampton, and Great Barrington. They had 3 fairs they raced at, like 800 claimers. Those were a blast, and that's kind of like the spirit of harness racing. Started with these small fair tracks and grew, but there's a beauty to harness racing that thoroughbred doesn't have. But it's more that's what my dad took me, and that's what I grew to love. So, and there's a big difference between 15 minutes between races and a half hour between races, which is harness thoroughbred. So yeah,
Okay.
2 nuts,
Does he,
3.5 hour.
all right. Question number 2. Does he have any tips for stud 8 or Raz?
Always enter raising, no limping allowed. If your hand's not good enough to raise or re-raise, fold. That's in 3, the first 3 cards. And that's probably the best tip I can give. By always raising or re-raising, which, like, it's just a general thought, but that's a good general thought to have. Obviously, there's no rules to anything, but that allows you to both play aggressively and play tight at the same time, which is a winning formula in all forms of poker. So for limit poker, that's what I would see. I'm getting a standing ovation from
Wow.
the sword guy. Yeah. So that's my tip. Yeah. If your hand's not good enough to raise, fold. If it's not good enough to re-raise, fold. I think that's probably a very good thing. Be aware of the cards that are out.
Okay.
So because you want to play live cards. So on Raz, so Artie Cobb had ace 3-5 in Raz, which is an amazing starting hand. Can't do much better. Ace 3-5, 3 to a 5 is about as good as you can do. But there were 3 deuces and 2 4s on the board, and he just folded. How's he going to improve his hand? All his cards that he needs to improve.
Right.
So he has this monster hand that he just folds. So be aware of cards that you need that are important to your hand. Make sure they're live. Like that's, if you have buried 7s and stud and there's a 7 out, you're not playing it. Fold. I don't care what it is.
That's going to bring me back to a stud question. This guy said, Alan, when you play 7-card stud, my friend, I'm sorry for not going back to your question to know who your name is, but he asked earlier, he said, Alan, when you're in a 7-card stud game, do you talk up the game or are you quiet at the table?
In the old days, if you lost a hand, you had to be prepared to be needled unmercifully. And there was constant chit chat, and it was a lot more fun. But now you have these kids, well, not in the stud games. Stud games mostly old timers, who are boring, which is why I don't play the game anymore. There's no characters. It's just stupid chit chat that's mindless to me. When I first started, it was all intriguing, and I looked up to these guys, but they were very, very funny and they were brutal. I'll give you one of the more brutal moments in stud. This is a true story. 75-150 game. I forget the guy's name, but he died at the poker table. And the dealer, he died. He had a heart attack and died.
Jesus.
And it might have been Tommy Kress because he's the only one that would come up with this. The dealer's like, and Tommy Kress said, just deal around him. Come on.
Like
how cold-blooded is that? I'm dead serious.
Oh God.
How cold is that? That is fucking awesome. Just deal around him. The guy's dead at the table. But Tommy was probably stuck and wanted to get the hands out. Like,
wow.
I'm guessing it was Tommy Kress. He's the only one that would be clever enough and brutal enough to just, yeah, he wouldn't play. He was so crazy. He's long since passed away. But this is how crazy some of these people were. Like they're just means. He was such a nice guy though, but at the table is just, if there were 3 consecutive Oriental dealers in the line, he would sit out and he would say, well, the Ho Chi Minh Trail is on its way. I'm leaving. Like,
oh, wow.
I mean, he's fucking brutal. Like, you couldn't say that nowadays, but back then it didn't matter. Because as much as he might have been serious, it was all kind of in fun too.
Yeah.
Of course, the dead guy at the table deal around him. That's not actually very funny, but I thought it was funny. Like, it was funny. Deal around him. Like, what the hell?
Alan, I noticed some people are a little sensitive. I notice all the shows I do, if I mention anything about horse racing or how big the takeout is, there are some people, horse guys that are sensitive and say, Crack, not sensitive. They're trying to put me in my place, and I'm open to constructive criticism if I'm wrong. So like this person here, Alex, I want to read what you said. Love the show. Thank you. Crack, win place in show is not 25%. Got to know what you're talking about. NYRA is 15 the most. Circuits are 17 and 18. Well, Alex, 17, 18, 20s are like the same to me. It's so hard to win. And you're not getting 4/5 on your return ROI is way higher. Just because you can't win at races doesn't mean pro bettors don't win at the track also. Yes, I know there are pro bettors, especially those CAWs. Does that stand for computer assisted wagering? I believe that I know there are people that win with these programs and their syndicates, but for our listening audience and our viewing audience, I am telling them that sports betting at 4.5% is a lot better than horse racing. I know the exotics and is 20, 25% on,
It depends
Quinellas or
what
whatever,
state. It's different for
but
different
it
states.
does. And
New York is the lowest,
NYRA,
I think.
Naira is, I believe, 14% in New
I
York.
think they are the lowest.
But
But
um,
yeah.
horse racing is really hard to beat. But I
Well,
answered your thing.
because like all forms of gambling, pretty much, unless you're doing mano a mano, one-on-one, you're going to lose. Like casinos are so disgusting that if they even think you have a chance of winning, they throw you out.
Oh yeah,
Counting
yeah,
cards.
yeah.
I mean, let them. If I ran a casino, I would tell cheaters they can come in. Just don't win too much, or I'm going to throw you out. I want people in the fucking casino, because even cheaters might get drunk and go off, right?
Right. There's skill sets.
And people,
you have to have so
there's the thing I call it my own words, the Pied Piper effect, where crowds are is where people tend to go. So
yeah.
if you have a crowded casino, people are going to go there. Even when you're playing slot machines, there's certain areas that are busier than others that people gravitate towards the machines there. There's few that just want to be by themselves and play the machine, but most people want to be around other people and engage, and motherfuck the machine or whatever. But
Right.
If I ran a casino, it wouldn't be any 6-5 blackjacks. It'd be all favorable rules. Cheaters can come in. The only ones I wouldn't let in are people who hover around slot machines waiting for someone to get up if the machine's good.
Right.
They'd be tossed immediately because they are a net negative for a casino.
Sure.
I know that's a little contradictory, but those people are very, very annoying to me.
Let's finish the show with one last question. And
like Boston, you're letting a cheater in, but not some slot guy. Right. That's right.
Right.
Because they're not going to give away anything, and they're going to aggravate your customers. Where a cheater is just going to cheat. So let him get away with a little. Doesn't mean he's not going to spend his money or blow it or bring someone else who loses. And anyway,
I'm going to do something I never did before. I'm going to start with the end of the question. I know these questions are personal, so it's okay if you don't choose to answer them. That's the last line. So we can, love the show. Randall, let's see, Randall. Anyone named Randall? I like him. Randall asked this question. Love the show. Question for Mr. Boston. If he just bet college basketball with proper money management, would he still be living a multi-million-dollar house and driving a Ferrari? That's part A. And part B is, what was his turning point from when he was successful financially to living more of a modest lifestyle? I think I'll answer that.
I think I answered that earlier. Really, if I wanted that money, I'd have it.
Right.
It's the struggle to have money that interests me more than actually having it. And what's the point of having it if you don't give it away or spend it? Like, that's always been my attitude. Like, I have no kids. It's going to go to some Great Dane rescue probably, unless my sister outlives me. But I'm so unlucky. I'm sure I'll outlive her. And as far as the turning point was the housing market crashing, where I just couldn't. I had a couple of years that I only made like 100,000 or 150,000, which is quite a bit of money, but not when you're spending 350,000, because your mortgage is 50 something hundred a month, and the expenses associated with the house are obnoxious, and you're paying. Well, yeah. I lived beyond my means at all points in my life, no matter how much money I had. There was no amount of money I couldn't spend and wouldn't spend or wouldn't gamble. And that's always been my attitude. And it's kind of a cop out, but it's who I am. And it's all well and good. I'm not hurting anybody by me being broke.
Yep.
And I'm hardly broke. Like, I talk like I'm destitute, but I'm eating steak and the rent's paid, the bills are paid. I don't have any real money. I'm operating on a shoestring, but that's okay. And the turning point, there's never really been one. It was more, I had all my eggs in one basket in the house, and eventually I just couldn't afford to live in the house because I didn't make 300,000 that year, or 200,000. It was just 100,000, and it was a couple of years in a row I just made $100,000, and I'm spending $350 a year, maybe more. and pretty soon that's, you know, that's a $500,000 deficit, and you run out of money quick that way. And you know, when I sold the house, I ended up getting nothing out of it. I didn't think I'd have anything to worry about because I had this house that I owed $700,000 on that was worth $3.1 million. In my dreams, I never thought. Even when I listed it last with the realtor, we listed it for 1.5. He said you should get this rather easily, but the market got really, really bad, and it took a year to sell it. And that, you know, that the money goes fast.
Yeah.
It goes
Well, we're
fast.
at an hour and 6 minutes here. Guys, I will get to the rest of your questions. I know there's about 10 more in there, and we'll add more next week, and we will get to them. Appreciate your likes, subscribes, and your comments.
Yeah, thanks for the comments, everybody. It means more than you realize. It's, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm not doing this for anything but hoping one person enjoys it. That's, plus Crack asked me to do the show, so I don't say no.
Yeah.
But that's,
No, good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Anyway, all right, be good, everybody.
All right, we'll see you next week.